George Stover. And we'll get to this a little bit later, okay? It needs to be the 11 o'clock hour before I indulge. We'll learn more about Maryland wineries and meet some of the vintners later in the show. But coming up, we're going to meet the morning crew from 98 Rock, Kirk, Mark, and Lopez. Stay with us. And we're also going to pay a visit to a very interesting farm with a fascinating history. Stay with us.
Hey, good looking. What you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? Hey, sweet baby.
Now, back to Rodricks for Breakfast, named Baltimore's best morning show by Baltimore Magazine. Here's Dan.
Welcome back. Oh, Jody West, Sister Susie. That sounds good, don't they? Thank you very much. Woo! Woo! We'll play out here at the Wine Festival every year, and we got them with us this morning. Also with us, please welcome from 98 Rock, the morning guys, Kirk, Mark, and Lopez, KML, on 98 Rock. Okay? I get that right?
Yes.
Kirk McEwen, Mark.
On Daco.
You like? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Do people know that? Your listeners know you have a last name?
Mm-hmm.
They call and they ask, right?
Yeah.
They wonder if Lopez has a first name.
Lopez has been going by Lopez for years, many years.
General
But it's
Robert
Bob
E.
Lopez.
Yeah.
Yes. Just call me Lopez. Thank you for getting here. You especially, because you had a talk show this morning.
That's right. I was spreading sedition up until 9 o'clock. And
I heard that.
Jumped in the car and got
Helping people sleep all over Baltimore.
We've gone from 7 to 9.
Right.
And I was listening on my way up here, and I noticed that a guy who used to call my talk show on WBAL was up early, Bob from Northeast Baltimore.
Hey, Bob, here's to you, man.
Bob, he's great. Yeah. You know, Bob got very mad at me once about something I said on the air, and 6 months went by, he didn't call. Every Saturday morning on WBAL, he wouldn't call. I thought I really hurt his feelings, and I said, I made a plea on the air, Bob, please call. I don't want to alienate anybody permanently, only temporarily, please. The time is, and he called in right away.
Yeah. Well, tell me what you did to alienate him. I'll try it next week.
It had something to do with race in America. It was one of those heavy discussions.
Oh, okay.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
You guys are hot. You guys are on a roll.
We're doing well.
This especially well. I want to mention Kirk, Mark, and Lopez. Was it last year or a couple years ago?
Last year was the first one.
Produced a CD of their morning funnies. Lots of funny stuff on here. This one, the sale of this first CD of your bits on the air, and what do you call those songs?
Twisted Tune.
Twisted Tune, sorry. Raised
80 grand.
80 grand for
Chase Brexton.
which is
Was it AIDS,
the AIDS
hospice type
hospice
thing,
in
yeah.
Baltimore. That's incredible, isn't it? $80,000 off this CD sale. Even though it's got a lot of bad boy stuff on it.
It's a little racy.
It's a little racy, a little naughty. There is
Just
a
a
parental
bit.
warning on it.
Yes.
But Bob from Northeast Baltimore.
Yeah.
Well, they're out with number 2 now. And talking about racy, the cover of this thing is kind of amazing. But you're selling this CD and it's doing quite well, I understand.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a restroom, a women's room at Memorial Stadium.
Is that what that was
Might be
taken?
we might have been the last people to use it.
Yes.
We were the last people.
The sale of this CD benefits...
98 Rock and Recovery, which is an ad hoc charity that the station has started up.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And benefiting...
That way, if there's a
Everybody.
tornado in Gamber or something, we can
Right.
help
In
out.
Gamber,
right
tornado
there.
in Gamber.
Imagine that.
Right.
There was a couple
It
years
happened,
ago,
didn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Listen, Lopez, while I have you here, you guys are always talking about current events. Well, the reason I like your show is it's not just music. You talk about things.
Yes.
And you have women call up and talk about how they get excited when they see Scott Erickson sweating. That kind of stuff.
You do listen.
I do listen. What's going to happen tomorrow with our president? What do you think is going to happen? Just your prediction about what happens this week.
I think the economy will finally slide into a recession as worker productivity dips to 0 for 4 hours
To
on,
watch
on
the
Monday.
video.
Yeah.
CNN will do real well during the sweeps.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
And
I think we've heard enough about this. I think
a lot of people resent that this is coming out, huh?
thank you very much.
You're such a populist.
Wow.
That's just the way I feel. I can only say what I feel, and I think we've beat this horse pretty good.
Yeah, it seems like overkill.
Yes.
I just want to mention to our viewers, last week we put our email address on the air, and we got 231 email on this, the majority of them negative on President Clinton, saying he should either resign or be impeached. I didn't have a chance to read. I did read them all this week. I won't have a chance to read them on the air. But I do appreciate you doing that, and we will use that feedback on the air as often as we can from email. So you think? I heard you say this morning you thought the president was dead meat. You think he's
he's a mouse that the Republicats are going to play with. They can do whatever they want with him now. They have the votes, they have the power in the Congress, and they're going to play with him as long as they want.
He'll be that emu that you're having on in about 6 weeks.
Lean meat, yeah.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. He's tough. And he has made comebacks before.
Oh,
He's
resilient.
I got something for you guys you'll enjoy. Lopez and Kirk and Mark on Daco.
Whatever.
You'll appreciate this. Now, listen to this. Accusations of perjury, a congressional investigation, a secret relationship brought to light, and that's not the Clinton bit, right? This has to do with something that happened 50 years ago, this month, next month, during the fall of 1948. The Whittaker Chambers Alger Hiss case exploded in the national news, and a farm a few miles north of Westminster became its symbolic epicenter.
Whittaker Chambers, born-again patriot, fervent anti-communist who turned on his old red friends. Alger Hiss, Baltimore-born, Ivy League-educated State Department official, accused in 1948 of being one of Chambers' old commie buddies. Hiss denied even knowing Chambers. Richard Nixon, obscure California congressman. He became to Hiss what Kenneth Starr is to Bill Clinton. He pursued him with a vengeance. It happened during one of the iciest ages of the Cold War. The case came to symbolize American post-war paranoia. It launched the career of a president and spawned McCarthyism. This old farm off Bachman Valley Road was Whittaker Chambers' retreat after his ideological transformation. It's where he hid evidence that incriminated Alger Hiss inside a pumpkin. The evidence was microfilm of State Department documents allegedly given to Chambers by Hiss for transfer to the Soviets. Chambers placed them in the pumpkin for congressional investigators and for dramatic effect.
That's the significance of this farm. That's why it's on the National Historic Register, and that's the importance of the pumpkin patch.
State Senator George Della's father bought the farm after Chambers owned it. It's now on the National Historic Register because of what happened here 50 years ago.
You know, it began in August of 1948 and ended up somewhere in the neighborhood of November of 1948.
Nixon visited Chambers at the farm 4 times, sizing up his prize witness.
And all that happened. I mean, it happened right here, you know, and they sat on the porch of the house, and, you know, Nixon would bring up, members of the press, trusted members of the press who had a good feel about people's character, and had them talk to Chambers just to get that, to make absolutely sure that what Chambers was saying was the truth.
Alger Hiss was convicted of perjury and served 4 years in prison. He claimed his innocence until his death. Whittaker Chambers died in 1961. The case elevated Richard Nixon to political star status and sent him on his way. The rest is history.
And if you think about it, and you think about the details of it, and you compare it to some of the things that are going on today, it's fascinating.
It is. A little footnote of national history right here in Maryland, and the parallels are striking. By the way, Whittaker Chambers' son, John, still lives in the area, and George Della tells us that people still drive up there looking for the ghosts of Whittaker Chambers, the anti-communists.
And Mrs. Chambers makes a great pumpkin pie.
Yeah, she does. You guys going to stay with us for a little while? We got a little added started today. We're going to play Stump the Lopez today, okay? We're going to put Kirk and Mark's brains together and see if theirs together is smarter than Mr. Know-It-All, Bob Lopez, okay? We're going to do that in a little while, all right? You ready for that?
All right.
That'll be after our next segment. We're going to talk about wines, right? Oh, news. This just in. Our auction item today, the forged iron table, donated by Bob Morris and his students for the benefit of the Carroll County Farm Museum. Raymond, a fella named Raymond. Hey, Raymond has bid $100. If you want to top the bid, 410-481-9910. Jody West, take us away. We're going to take a little break here. We'll come back, and we'll talk some more about wine in Maryland and start doing some sniffing and sipping.
Don't tell me you want more. Mr. Twister. You know what you want more. Mr. Twister. I'm showing you what's wrong. Mr. Twister.
If you'd like to be a member of our weekly studio audience, please send for tickets at Tickets, Rodricks for Breakfast, WMAR-TV, 6400 York Road, Baltimore, Maryland, 21212. Please include your name, address, and phone number along with the date you'd like to attend.
Okay, welcome back. We're going to talk some wine here because we are at the second day of the 15th